Preparing to live stream. Fantastic. I'm going to record now to the cloud. And good morning, everybody, and welcome to the September edition of Coffee with Cathy. I'm so excited to be with you today with some of my friends here to talk about what is happening in the great community of Kaiser and our Mid-Willamette Valley region. As always, we're glad to have our partners with the City of Kaiser, Betty Hart from the Kaiser Fire District, Diane Watson from the Schmeckedy Community College Board of Education, the Lowrys, who are representing the Kaiser Chamber of Commerce, Ramiro Navarro from the Chariots Board of Directors, Pastor Jose Dominguez from La Luz de Valle Church, Chrissy Hudson from the Salem Kaiser School Board is not able to join us today. She sends her best and hopes to join us at a future broadcast. And today we will have a special guest with us, DJ Vincent from Church at the Park. So grab your favorite cup of Joe or whatever warms you on a September day, and let's have a conversation about what's happening in Kaiser. Just want to lead off with a very, very big announcement. A lot of you have already seen it, and if you haven't, it is my pleasure to share some very good news, and that is we have made a selection for our new police chief. After going through an extensive process, we wanted to make sure that we gave everybody an opportunity, we gave everybody a chance, and also all of our candidates to be able to show Kaiser what they could bring to policing. At the end, it was very clear that Andrew Copeland, whose 21 years of service here in Kaiser, his tremendous expertise, and his great leadership skills will make him a very, very good next police chief for the city of Kaiser. So congratulations to Andrew, congratulations to Kaiser. We're excited for him to be promoted to this rank. It will be official on the 25th, which I believe is a week from Monday, and then we will have a ceremonial swearing in at the October 2nd City Council meeting. So that'll be at 7 p.m. So again, congratulations to Andrew Copeland, the incoming Kaiser Police Chief. Also, a huge thank you to John Teague, who has led the Kaiser Police Department for many years. He has done tremendous work for helping problem-oriented policing become how all of the staff members in our police department do business, and that they understand a larger community. Thank you to John Teague for his tremendous service, and we wish him all the very best in his retirement, which I understand will probably be retired, which means tired again. For any of us who have done that, sitting back with bonbons and soap operas just doesn't fit for people like John Teague. And I know he's going to continue to be very active in his community and in the police service. So again, huge congratulations and thank you to John Teague and to Andrew Copeland. So now I also want to share about our younger generation, and we have a big day coming up, and that is Band Day. So folks are going to see kids all over Salem and Kaiser with their t-shirts for their different bands that they belong to for our high school bands. This is the annual fundraiser. I don't know if you all have seen. If you haven't, you should see our beautifully decked out McNary Celtic band. They have new uniforms. They look absolutely sharp. And of course, they sound absolutely in tune. So help support our bands. If you've got bottles and cans, and we know how much some people just love, getting those turned in, don't bother. Get a blue bag with the tag, fill it up, leave it there, and that will get processed. Thank you to Bottle Drop for making it so easy for people to be able to collect bottles and cans and contribute them to the charity of their choice. So get a hold of the band boosters. They're available on Facebook, and support our young people who are in the music programs. And if anybody doesn't think marching band isn't physical education, you haven't done one of their practices. those young men and women work very hard. They are athletes, hauling those instruments, keeping in tune, keeping in their lines, aware of everything going on around them, and just looking completely sharp as they're doing it. So it is truly an athletic endeavor as well. Also, coming up this coming Monday, we will be, the City Council will meet in regular session, but before that at 6 o'clock, we're going to get an update on our strategic plan. So if you want to know, after you did all those surveys, well, now what? Well, it's taken a while for our contractor to work through all of the data because, as usual, Kaiser showed up and they had a lot to work with. Good job. So we want to make sure that we get an update on where this is at and developing our 5-year strategic plan. So tune in or come on down 6 p.m. not a.m. On Monday, the 18th, for the work session on our strategic plan. Also want to highlight, let me see if I can share the next picture I've got here. Something happening today, and that is Punks in the Park. So this is going to be, this has been second annual Punks in the Park. This is from the Punks with a Purpose. They are recovery outreach and community center. They are a great partner with our Mid-Willamette Valley Homeless Alliance, working with Backbone, which is our youth advisory board. The event last year was fantastically successful, building relationships with young adults and youth in our community. And I've been asked to come on down and be a part of it this afternoon. I'm looking forward to visiting with folks there. So this is going to be a great opportunity to come and visit, and also with our youth and young adults for them to connect with resources around our community and our region. So Punks at the Park today from 11 to 6. And let me see if I can get my little thing going here. Following week, Navy Week. So you're going to start hearing about this coming up. This is going to be the first Navy Week that's being held in Oregon, and they've chosen the Mid-Willamette Valley. So the U.S. Navy is going to bring Navy Week here from the 25th to October 1st. About 50 to 75 sailors from across the country to discuss why the Navy matters to Oregon. And of course, we all know that there are 2 ships. There's the USS Oregon and the USS Portland that we're very proud of as our namesakes. We're going to have all sorts of activities here, here in Kaiser on the 27th. Let me see if I can get this. So this is some of what will be happening during Navy Week. They have leaders, sailors. We're going to have music. The Navy representatives are going to have a number of appearances at local boys and girls clubs. And this is the schedule for the 27th. There are activities Monday through Friday of that week, but these are the ones featured in Kaiser. We'll begin the day with issuing our proclamation. The 26th will be when Salem issues theirs. And they're going to be involved in activities like the Willamette River cleanup and go up here at the high school and at a Boys and Girls Club. And then we have a special event that's going to be at the Volcano Stadium between 6 and 8. And we're looking forward to some friendly baseball, softball, let's be honest. And just some great community outreach and fun for the whole family. Kaiser Community Night at Volcano Stadium. It is free for all to attend, and all are welcome. Come on down. Last, I want to go to our parks. This has been a great summer in our parks. Thank you to our staff for making sure that they have been open with our splash pad on our warm days. This wonderful couple of people is Donna Miller, her son Randy, and they are at the namesake park for their family, Ben Miller Family Park. Recently, and this is in Ramiro's neighborhood, but they've just did a cleanup at that park and a brand new play structure. So of course we had to try it out. Do I have that picture? Maybe. There, no, there we are. So yes, we had to try it out. So we got city council in, on, around, and then our city manager, our city recorder, Melissa Bissett. So this is durable. but it's got a fantastic soft fall protection service, and people like to come there and just bounce on it. So it's a wonderful improvement for that neighborhood, and it is busy every day with kids and families enjoying the outdoor at the park. So Ben Miller Family Park is one of the great projects we've been able to do at the City of Kaiser because of our parks fee that provides sufficient funds to do maintenance, such as replacing broken playground equipment, proper fall protection, mowing, litter cleanup, and unfortunately, a tremendous amount of graffiti abatement. So all of that we're able to do at a parks fee of $4 per month per household, and every single dollar gets stretched for value, not only in terms of the dollars spent, but also the investment in our community. So that's some of the stuff going on around Kaiser. And I'm going to stop my share on my screen. And what I'd like to do now is go to our special guest. And just to remind everybody, this is a conversation. I'm going to ask DJ to share about what's happening with Church at the Park, who Church at the Park is, and invite all of us to enter into a conversation with him about the great work to serve people experiencing homelessness so they can leave homelessness once and for all. DJ, thank you for joining us today.
It's an honor to be here, Mayor Clark, and I get to serve as the pastor and director for Church of the Park, as we've existed since 2007, actually, to connect with unsheltered folks and to help them come alongside our community partners to find positive destinations, to find new jobs. So we started that work at Cascade Gateway Park in 2007, and we spent the better part of a decade just doing outreach and connection to other services. We've done about 7 years of emergency sheltering, but just the past 3 years have we been involved in these micro shelter efforts. And really, it was 2021 that we saw the first formal micro shelter come together on Portland Road. We're honored to have 2 of those active today, one for adults and one for families. And then on Monday, we will check in our first young adults, 18 to 24, on Turner Road, where we have space for 38 young adults. We have 70 relationships that we're actively engaged in there. And before we start into other questions, our third priority is really workforce development for the people that we're serving, getting them connected to jobs and providing as many jobs as we can as well.
Well, fantastic work. And while an overnight success takes years of work, going from providing outreach and relationship building to actually running micro shelter communities in the last, I'd say 12 to 18 months in particular, Church at the Park has made a humongous leap in the ability to set up and operate these micro shelter communities. Church at the Park is a very important member of the continuum of care, the Mid-Willamette Valley Homeless Alliance, and providing essential emergency shelter and services in partnership with organizations across our region. Church at the Park isn't doing this alone. DJ, can you talk about some of the partnerships that you have?
Yeah, on a weekly basis, we're able to welcome JD Health and Wellness on both of our sites to connect people to their primary healthcare provider, as well as behavioral health and counseling service. On a weekly basis, we work with DHS and their family coaches to meet with families right on site. We work a lot with Marion County and Polk County behavioral health and addiction services. And that's just kind of the beginning of a list of 50 partners that we work with on a periodic basis.
Okay, press pause on that. How many partners?
50 is the list of folks we're actively have partnered on services with.
And some of them are on the screen with us today. Jamaica has been a tremendous partner for education opportunities. Chariots has been a fantastic partner for transportation options to get people where they need to go for no charge. The Kaiser Chamber, Salem Chamber, and Business Community for providing job opportunities, training. Pastor Dominguez and La Luz de Valle Church and our faith community. The fire district for safety, security, and other services in the community. It has been truly a partnership to meet the needs of people where they're at. So DJ, go ahead.
Oh, beautiful. I was realizing as you were, it is hard when you've got this list of 50 in front of you to remember, we wouldn't have a family shelter site without Catholic Community Services saying yes to helping us co-locate at that spot. We wouldn't be able to have gotten a start in shelter without Community Action Agency being a backbone kind of supporter of the work that we're doing.
Absolutely. And the Middle Valley Homeless Alliance has been critical in bringing in the dollars and structural organization, especially for providing the being the collaborative applicant, recognized by HUD, Housing and Urban Development through the federal government, and also to be the collaborative applicant for the governor's executive order for emergency shelter and rapid rehousing. Again, a partnership in this region. And can you talk a little bit what a positive outcome looks like? We've had a lot of conversations at our alliance, but help people understand when people are at Church of the Park, what's next?
Yeah, so let's just start with the fact that the folks that we're serving have incredible stories. Some parts of their stories may be tragic, but other parts show resilience and a lot of assets. So sometimes folks that come and stay with us are already working, living out of their vehicle, and we are helping them secure just traditional first and last month's rent for a traditional market rate apartment. Then in other cases, we're working with the Salem Housing Authority, Marion County Housing Authority, with folks who have already been in the process with a housing voucher, and they're just looking for the right spot to land. Then you move into folks who really need to find new workforce skills. So we're doing, that capacity building and development. They haven't started an application process around how to find housing. And you've got this reality where maybe the next best step is working with partners like Simonka Place or Family Promise for a longer term, even higher touch environment where we would say we may move them on to transitional housing with other partners. Maybe it's Teen Challenge around someone's challenge with addiction. And so that is still a positive destination for us. And then sometimes we're connecting people with long-term recovery. An example like Hooper in Portland, where they go into a 30-day detox with a high commitment to a housing placement after that. So a positive destination may be self-driven to an apartment. It may include a housing voucher. It may be to a long-term transitional program. And then the last one I want to make sure and mention, some of our folks, especially at the Village of Hope, need to be connected to senior and disability services, and they need permanent supportive housing within our community. And so that is a final positive destination.
Thank you so much, because I get questions all the time, and we probably all do too. What happens? What are we doing for people for the long-term stability? And to have folks understand that there are steps along the way. Well, one of the things we've worked hard on as an alliance, and this is my visual, we have not just made a linear continuum, we are weaving a fabric. We're weaving a fabric of community that wraps around and embraces our neighbors. And each of us is a thread. And it's important for us to weave a strong fabric, but not try to be somebody else's thread. Chariots needs to be doing transportation, not medical services. So that's their thread. The people doing medical services need to do that and not try to do something else. So if there's a gap, like a hole in the fabric, if you will, it's important to find out what that is and welcome another partner into weaving the community. So that's something that we've worked hard through the Homeless Alliance, the collaborative committee in particular, which is an all-state. And that's how we get to find our way to weave this fabric. For those who are watching who don't know, I'm on the board of directors for the Mid-Willamette Valley Homeless Alliance, where I served as chair for 3 years. And I was part of the original task force to start the process of answering the question, what can we do better for people in our community to leave homelessness as a problem they are experiencing in their lives? I want to go to one more visual and ask you to talk about it. And this has been so important, talking about weaving the fabric of community, is this, the humanity of homelessness. Would you tell us a little bit about the storytelling event coming up, but also about what Church at the Park and our partners at Union Gospel Mission and so many of us at the Community Action Agency and all of our partners are about the humanity of the people we're serving?
Yeah, so in the past, we might have used the word homeless as a personal identifier, and we are recognizing that that is a person, a neighbor, a brother or sister who is experiencing the event of homelessness. And we want to remind folks that these aren't just numbers in our community. These are people who have family members, who have people who love them dearly. And we want every person to thrive in our community and to be seen by others for not just their challenges, but in the way of their resilience. And so it is Church at the Park's commitment to tell a guest of ours, tell their story on a weekly basis. And so that helps us live into our values of, are we helping the folks who stay with us to really own and nurture their own story and realize it's going to be a good story. And it may have hard parts, but we're all hoping it's going to have some really good parts coming into the future. And so we do that through social media. We do that through writing and newsletters. And then we try to allow people, if they want, to tell their story to the community. We do quarterly storytelling events. We have one next Wednesday at Chemeketa Community College at the Building 6 there and at their auditorium. We're really looking forward to that. We are loving our partnership with Chemeketa in terms of connecting people to educational opportunities.
Well, thank you so much. Questions for DJ or comments?
I have a question and a question / comment. It seems to me that a missing part of the fabric is the real estate industry, the real estate investment industry, and the building industry partnering with you guys, and maybe business in general to help support that from a financial position to help build more of these for the community.
Well, so the challenges you are mentioning are both true and opportunities for us to kind of move forward into doing more until there aren't folks on sidewalks or in parks. And when we can meet the needs of an aging population that may have disabilities. And so, you know, you may be aware, even now, we're developing a new shelter effort in rural Polk County in Dallas, where we are under contract on a piece of property there. We are exploring in Salem, how can we be involved in even reimagining some current apartment complexes that could be renovated under the imagination of let's make these affordable and let's put supportive services like peer support, other group activities on site so people can thrive who need a little extra support.
Have you considered speaking, or has anybody asked, or have you asked to speak at any of the Realtor Association meetings?
So in a powerful way, pre-pandemic, we were providing the bus for our commercial realtor group on a quarterly basis, and we would tell them about the good work of Church at the Park to partner with them around positive neighborhood engagement and imagination, because we're getting great testimonies from those who live in the apartments and those who represent the Northeast Neighbor Association. There was a lot of fear before we came in at the property at Center Street across from Safeway. And we have really met the community demand and expectation that this would be a safe and clean space, not just for guests, but for neighbors. And so to your question, I am on the docket with the local realtor group for this fall. We've been in communication, and I think you're pinpointing a real need. I would love to get connected if there's any specific Kaiser Realty groups, be happy to share.
That sounds like an opportunity with the Kaiser Chamber Government Affairs. I'm looking at Jane Lowry, who is the president of the Chamber Board this year. And thank you both, Mike and Jane, for your service to the community in so many ways.
DJ, oh, go ahead.
Oh, dale.
DJ, this is Pastor Dominguez. Someone that, for example, finds some young man or some young girl, they're sitting in the parking lot, or they're at the church, and we want to connect them. Some of us don't know how to connect the people to the resource. How would we do that, DJ? At the grassroots level, for example, I had a young man who on Thursday was sitting in our parking lot, and we decided that we were going to just have a conversation. And the conversation was just, because homeless people, just like any other people, they want to be seen and they want to be heard because they have a story. And so we saw him, we heard him, nice guy, very, very nice person. And we had our conversation, and I go, now how can I connect him, knowing about Church on the Park, knowing about the great work that your staff, your committed people are doing there. So how do we do that? How do we connect them, DJ, to the great work that's being done at Church at the Park?
I'll give you 3 ways, Pastor Jose. One is, Mayor Clark already put it up, our website has an active registration form that then our staff are working 5 days a week to follow up with. And so you, as an advocate, can literally help that person fill out the form live in that moment with kind of their information, their desire to engage sheltering, and their level of vulnerability, which helps us kind of prioritize and point them in the right direction. Also, so maybe that is a barrier or hard, or they're not ready to do that yet. Then also Mayor Clark put up, there's a list of numbers, and maybe it's they want safe parking, maybe they're a young adult, maybe they should be connecting with the family site. So there's a real number to call that someone should pick up, and they may be able to talk to that person more about what the services are, and may also be able to, on the computer, put in their information, because we realize not everyone has the same access to technology. And then it's not 24/7, but they're at 2640 Portland Road, the old DMV. That is where we have the opportunity for folks to come in and talk to us about the services that they might be seeking if they're not yet engaged with us. So we have outreach that goes out 5 days a week, but we realize exactly what you're saying. These relationships are built through trust. And so if we empower all of our community partners, faith-based and otherwise, to be these advocates who refer people, we're going to be able to get more people connected to services.
Thank you.
I just had a comment. I just want to say thank you, DJ, for everything that you're doing. It's really amazing work that you do, and it's needed. I mean, when I worked with veterans at a local nonprofit for for the last 7 years, and in that I worked with some veterans that would show up in our parking lot and just pitch a tent and hang out because they knew that that's where the services were, and we'd have that same conversation that Pastor Dominguez was talking about right now. And we'd help them navigate the resources. And it really takes looking at this, using like a holistic lens when we're looking at this to say, okay, well, we can provide the peer support here, but we're not housing experts. Let's refer them to this agency. We're not education experts. We're not VA benefit experts. Let's work with our community partners to really get them connected. Because once we can get them into, immediate housing, then we can get them into transitional housing and then permanent supportive housing. And maybe it stops there, or maybe it continues to grow to Mike's point, and they get enough benefits that they can apply for a home and be able to build equity there. So I really appreciate everything that you're doing, and let us know how we can help.
DJ, Chemeketa is really excited about how we connect together and working together on career education and training. And I know that our people are contacting you sometime daily, and sometimes your folks are contacting us to figure out how we can get students and clients into educational programs and better their lives. One of the things that we have in common is we have a lot of students who are food insecure and homeless. We did a survey it was in 2019. It's the Hope Survey. And we found out we sent out 9,000 surveys to students, and we got a return rate was 9%. But out of those, 43% of the respondents experienced food insecurity in the prior 30 days. 51% of the respondents experienced housing insecurity in the previous days, and 19% of the respondents experienced homelessness in the previous days. So 65% of students at Chemeketa Community College either experience food or housing insecurity. So we have a real common population there that we're both trying to help and to move forward. And so, we really look forward to in the future how we could connect even closer to help our students out. But I wanted to pass that on, and we really appreciate the work together and our work with all the other agencies that Chemeketa does and connects, because wherever, here's an example of some of the comments made by those who are food insecure. I couldn't afford to eat a balanced meal. The food that I bought just did not last, and I didn't have money left over. And we do have a food bank at Chemeketa, and of course, many resources that we send our students to and refer them to. And housing the same way. It's maybe we could go to the next slide there. This is homelessness. Self-identified homelessness location stayed overnight, temporarily with relatives, friends, or couch surfing in a camper or RV. A lot of our students are staying in cars. It's real hard, and they're still going to school. They're still making their classes, but money is really tight. And so some are sleeping outside, and some are probably sleeping in areas where you're serving, which is wonderful that you're there to help. And we certainly want to help any way we can connect. And so we have on our website, if you want to go to the next slide, we have all kinds of resources here. And if you drill down, there's housing there, there's financial resources and stuff. We connect with all kinds of resources, and students can use that, or they can call us and get some help, or they can come in person and we'll make referrals. So this is available to the public. You know, anybody who wants to find, it can go on and drill down and get all the resources that we've collected from around the city. And these are all partners with us. I don't know, Cathy, do you want me to go on with our incarceration program?
Yes, because the people leaving, no longer being adults in custody are another population of our people who often experience homelessness. And I'm going to give a quick plug for the Marion County Reentry Initiative. That breakfast is going to be on October 12th. And this is a fabulous program and partner with what you are going to be talking about here. So watch for that, MCRI through Marion County.
Right. Well, Chemeketa offers classes in the prisons. Even the maximum security, they offer GED program, and at Oregon State Correctional Institution, the medium, and the Santa Am Corrections. All three institutions have GED programs run by a combination of instructors, coordinators, and the tutors. And the tutors are in custody members that are tutoring from the prisons, helping others get through. OSP also has an automotive programs where adults in custody can work towards an entry-level technician certificate and can earn an Associates of Excellence certificate and take additional classes towards their associate degree. Chemeketa was one of the first community colleges. We were a pilot program for Second Chance Pell. And so now that has expanded because we've had such a good success rate. The recidivism rate for students who complete a degree was 6%, which is incredible. And the students who went—
Would you say that again?
The recidivism rate for students who completed this program, and it was scaled back during COVID. But this, I think the statistics come from 2019. It was 6% in 2019. And those are who got the associate degree, and they graduated with a 3.5. So this is incredible. It is successful. And because our program was success, now it has expanded. And now we have a new program that we're looking at. Most recently, Chemeketa is a partner with PSU in a $2.3 million grant, in which our main outcome is to develop a 2+2 model where adults in custody can do their first 2 years at Chemeketa and finish up with PSU with a bachelor's degree. That's pretty cool. So we're moving forward. Chemeketa is here to help people wherever they can. We have the newest partnership, which I am really excited about, our partnership with the Kroc Center. This
is huge.
This is huge. Free GED prep classes, they're going to offer in partnership, the Kroc and Chemeketa Community College. Free GED prep taught by Chemeketa instructors are now being offered at the Kroc, and it comes with great perks. Classes will be held Monday through Thursday from 2:30 to 4, starting September 25th. New student orientation is every 5 weeks. They need to be 16 to 20 years old, so we're targeting those youth that didn't complete high school or want to go back and get their GED. They need to read at the 8th grade or higher. And what they get, the perk, is they get a free Kroc membership with access to the whole facility, free meal card that can be used at the cafe starting at 4 p.m. And students enrolled will have access to Rebound programming. So anyway, I just got this. I was at another meeting, and this was passed out, and I was just so excited. I had to tell you about it because I think this is really a good retention for our 16 to 20 years old who kind of get lost and don't finish school. And here we're there to teach them and then guide them into maybe some type of training program after that. So that's my report, but I'm sure happy that Church in the Park is here and all the other areas that we're connecting with, because we all have the same purpose to help our adults in our community and our youth and make lives better.
Thank you so much, Diane. And this goes right back to our youth and young adult micro shelter community, which opens, as you said, it's opening.
Yeah, Monday, we have guests lined up to come on site.
That is so exciting. to be able to welcome our youth and young adults. And here's a new program that you can offer them for their education, setting them up for their future. Fantastic.
Yes, DJ. I have another question for you. The faith community, with the faith community, we're challenged with not only loving God, but loving our neighbor. And homelessness, our homeless community, it is a challenge to the faith community. And we want, first of all, I want to thank you for bringing that to the forefront. My question is, I've had the privilege to be able to travel around the country and to talk to faith leaders. And I highlight homelessness and the good work that is being done here in the Salem community. And some of the faith leaders are challenged by that. And they've asked me, DJ, does he come out of Salem? Could he bring that to us? Because I don't want to call it a model, but I just think it's God leading you. He's led you. He's brought partners together to bolster and strengthen our community here in Salem, and we're real thankful for that. But there are other communities, there are other states that don't have the slightest idea how to even begin, to be empathetic towards our homeless community, how to reach out to them. And without giving you more work, because I know you have so much work to do, DJ, but I think that we have something here in Salem that is amazing, with the partners, with those that are supporting, with those that are helping. And I guess my question is, do you get out and share what Church at the Park is doing, in hopes that there are others that may get on the bandwagon and maybe do something for their community, for their city, and with the hopes and the vision that this will spark a fire through the whole United States? That's a big question.
I'll answer that with just three touch points. One is myself and our team, we're willing to share everything about how we're doing things with any community group or church community. I shared with a church out of Vancouver just yesterday, everything about our model and how we train people and what our budgets are. I'll be sharing with, I think it's like the Council of Governments in October about the model in a meeting down in Eugene. And then there's rarely a week that goes by that I won't do a call and just try to help someone else who, is doing this work in Seattle, or just looking to work together to be a learner as well on what things are working and how we can continue to improve. I would also like to say, we're not done here yet in Salem, Kaiser, in Marion and Polk County, in meeting the needs that are here. And community groups and churches and faith groups literally can open up their space for safe parking. And we have safety team members who will come by the property twice a night to make sure it's going to work and be a safe and great experience for any faith community or even a business who would allow people to park overnight and not feel like they were going to get towed away or that they were in an inappropriate space. So there's a lot more to do to help people not be parking in back alleys or in neighborhoods feeling nervous and making others feel nervous, rather feeling that sense of humanity. I'm supposed to be here for right now, and then I know what my next steps are. Faith community members and other community members can come and share a meal and recognize how close they are in relationship and life experience to the folks who are in this hard time. People can always donate clothing items or come and sort and give those out.
So awesome. And in the chat on Facebook, I've put in the links and so forth for people who are watching. Once again, the website for Church of the Park is churchofthepark.org. Get involved, get connected, make a difference, help build relationship and lives. DJ, thank you so much for your leadership and for this great partnership with this group. There's some stuff coming up in the community that I want to share, and I'm going to pop over to Betty real quick
Thank you,
for
DJ.
an update regarding the library. Talk about homelessness prevention is literacy. And also about Kaiser Fire District. We've got an open house coming up and safety events. There we go, unmute.
Yeah.
There you go, you
I'm
found
having a
it.
little- Yeah, I'm having a little trouble clicking on it. Yeah, so one of the things that I do in the rest of my life is I actually serve on the board of directors for an organization called the Oregon JC Foundation, and we own the building on Turner Road where Church of the Park started, and has recently bought the last couple of years from the Oregon JC Foundation, and the proceeds from that sale we are using to give scholarships to young people who are involved in their communities, to seniors in high school throughout Oregon. And then DJ and Church at the Park, I mean, that really was the Church at the Park, that JC building on Turner Road. And so I have a warm place in my heart for DJ and for the work that his organization has been doing there. And I'm sorry I missed the ribbon cutting or whatever was going on last week, because I was interested in seeing the changes there. But I'm delighted to talk about the fire district and the library. The library does a lot to help people experiencing homelessness, but as you pointed out, literacy is an important element in helping people navigate life wherever they are. And so there's a lot of resources available both for young people and for adults. Probably one of the most popular elements of the library is the I think we have 6 computers that people can come in and sort of quote unquote check out, which means they can sit down at the computer for at least a half an hour, possibly more, to do what they need to do, maybe look for a job, maybe apply for a job, maybe look for other resources that they need, or communicate with people that they need to communicate with. And so we see that as a valuable resource to supplement to help people access things that they aren't able to do otherwise. And so that's, I think, an important part of the library. And we have ongoing programs that I think are very important to the concept of literacy. One of those is that we have stories in Spanish for the whole family every Tuesday evening at 6:30 p.m. And we have preschool story time on Wednesday mornings at 10:30 a.m. So those are good opportunities for children and for families to access literacy. And we have quite a few books that are written in Spanish and some that are written in Spanish and English, so that people can see both languages when they're reading. And of course, it's now Hispanic Heritage Month. So I think that's an important aspect of what we do. The other big news well, there are 2 other things. One is we have someone who is helping people with genealogical research on the 2nd and 4th Mondays of the month from 5 to 7 p.m. There's someone there who has the resource to be able to do their research that they're interested in doing, and maybe they've got stuck or aren't sure what to do next. So they can come down and it's sort of an open house thing. The gentleman is there and they can be helpful. And then our semi-annual book sale is coming up in October 20th and 21st, starting at 9 o'clock both days. We get about 1,000 books donated every month. And so somebody goes through those to see which ones we want to have in our library, or we can use in the library. And then the rest go into the book sale. So there are lots of choices. If you just like to, you enjoy reading, and the prices are quite reasonable. So well, we welcome people. It's at, of course, the Kaiser Civic Center on Friday and Saturday, the 20th and 21st of October. So just about a month from now. So that's kind of what's going on at the library. And I'm delighted to talk about, of course, the Kaiser Fire District. And we're having our open house on Monday, October 9th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the fire station. This is a family-friendly event, lots of fun things for the kids to do and information for the adults. It is, it's really fun thing. One of the things they have is a little relay where the kids get to put on a fire gear and, you know, run down with the hose and rescue a stuffed animal and run back. And, you know, it's a lot of fun to watch them do that. So I encourage people to come down and look around. And if you have a family, bring them along. It's free. And again, Monday, October 9th from 6 to 8 p.m. And we have our monthly board of directors meeting this Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. at the fire station. And of course, this is free to attend as well. And the public is welcome. Not nearly as much fun as the open house will be, I can assure you, but still. And probably the big news from the Kaiser Fire District is that we will be on the ballot in November with our operating levy. We've had an operating levy for a number of years. They have to be voted on every 5 years, and our current levy expires this year. So we've voted to put it on the ballot. The amount for the levy is 99 cents per $1,000 of assessed value, not the market value of your home, which is probably a lot more than the assessed value, and probably will cost the average homeowner somewhere in the neighborhood of $19 a month. And this increase is really important. It is an increase over our current levy, and it's really important because, first of all, the number of calls that we get on an annual basis has increased substantially. In the last 10 years, it's increased about 70%, which is huge. And of course, the majority of those calls are medical calls. And when it's your emergency, you want them there right away. And the feedback that we get from people who have received services from our paramedics is that they are great. Both in terms of the help they provide and their calmness and the way they interact with the person helps both emotionally as well as physically with whatever the situation is. And while, yes, when we transport somebody to the hospital, we can bill for that. However, nobody pays what the real cost is. And of course, a lot of the people that we end up transporting are seniors. So they're on Medicare and they pay even less than commercial insurance would pay. So where information will be coming out in the next few weeks. There'll be an annual report from the fire district that'll go to every household, and we'll be sending then to voters some materials from the campaign committee. So we look forward to having a positive vote on this and hope that people will join us and support the fire district for this really essential service. So
Thank you so much, Betty, and look forward to the ongoing updates. And also, get people to that open house
yes.
for October. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I always look forward to going and seeing what all they're doing. And some of the kids get to hold a hose, which is, kind of a big deal, really.
Lands them on their tuchus if they don't hold on tight.
Yes.
Good time. Ramiro, I've got a couple of slides up here for you and share what's going on at Chariots, but I'm going to start with the TAP card, which is another way to make the access to transit even easier for folks.
Yes, thank you. That is so easy. And I love using this. This was something that we just recently implemented, which is a card that allows for people to pay for their transit ride without having cash. So a lot of times we see people fumbling at the kiosk there trying to look for change. Well, now they can just tap their card. And there's an addition to that, because if some people would like the cards. I like the cards. I wish that we could use both, but for some reason you can't. The other option is you can use your phone. So I don't know if you can see, there's a little QR code that shows up if you download the Umo app there. And if you don't like carrying cards, then you can just use your phone to scan and ride on the bus, and it makes it so much easy. And aside from that, we've also had a cap on our fare prices. So if somebody doesn't purchase the monthly pass with that Umo card, but they are riding more than they're paying the daily rate and are on track to pay more than they would have paid with the monthly pass, then it actually caps that fee. So they never go over what they would have paid for the monthly pass. It makes it more affordable and more accessible, and doing everything that we really appreciate at Chariots.
Awesome. The other thing I have here is there's construction out of the Kaiser Transit Center.
Yes, and some folks might have noticed that in August we had some construction that was starting over at the Kaiser Transit Center. That's resulted in some alternate bays being placed for Route 11, Route 12, Route 14, the Route 80X that goes to Woodburn. And it's made parking a little bit limited. But the awesome thing about that is that the reason for this construction is that we are electrifying our fleet. So we are going to be having 10 new electric buses going into service in early 2024. To prepare for them, we're outfitting underground charging stations at the Kaiser Transit Center. And sorry if you guys hear the chainsaw going, that's my neighbor cutting down a tree. And so yeah, we have those new I believe they're called conductive charging stations. So these electric buses can park right over the top of these charging stations and be able to charge while they're en route, as opposed to having to plug in and stop and be out of service for a while. So it's just another way that we're thinking ahead at Chariots and trying to be good stewards of the communities that we work in.
And this was a federal grant, and I serve on the SCATS board, which is the Salem Kaiser Area Transportation Study for federal funding, and this was a federal grant. And congratulations to Chariots for really being on it when it comes to applying for those federal dollars and winning them because of the great quality of the grant applications. Way to go.
Yes, thank you. I believe this is our third year in a row that we've gotten approved for that federal funding to be able to improve our transportation system, and that's unheard of. A lot of times it's a one and done, or a one and then you got to wait a while and then you'll get another grant. And we got it 3 years in a row just because of the outcomes when we're investing into our community, and the really innovative ways that we're looking at addressing public transit.
That's fantastic. And it's, again, it has to do with the quality of the grant applications and the results you all are getting. And you partner with providing free transportation to the Navigation Center, Arches Day Center, and when we have warming and cooling shelters, people pay nothing to get there. They can get on the chariots and get there for their safety, security, and health. So really appreciate that partnership.
Yeah, thank you.
I got a question, Ramiro. When I was a kid, that was a while ago, so in the 70s, chariots served our neighborhoods. And as young as 8 years old, me and my friends would hop on the chariots. We'd take them downtown. We go to the YMCA. As kids, we used it for our transportation. We get out to the mall. We could go anywhere, but they came through our neighborhoods. And now I notice that they're primarily on major thoroughfares. Is there any plans on getting a little bit more into the neighborhoods especially for kids and seniors to take the bus? Because, for example, my mom, who lives in Laurel Springs out south, has a woman living there that does not have transportation. She's not a senior, she's in her 50s. But in order for her to take the bus, she's got to walk all the way to Liberty, which is easily a mile. And is it just a matter of funding? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really great point. So a lot of really effective and efficient bus systems run on like a grid model, where they just kind of like run down all the streets and go back and forth and make sure that they're catching folks. Well, the way that Salem and Kaiser are built doesn't really allow for that to happen efficiently. So what we've done is we've created, and we've tried to work this out over the years, where we've created routes to try to figure out like how we could best serve the community. But then what was happening was like real estate investors and other builders in the community were saying, well, we're going to build over here because we don't even know if you're going to have a route over there. And we know that there's access to a highway or something, over here. And so to encourage that, we've created a system that has a core network. And that core network are these, routes that you'll see constantly running on the same roads. They're never going to change. And then we have other routes that are in addition to that, that have a little bit more flexibility, so they can run through those neighborhoods if we see that there is a lot of ridership in that area. That works more, I think that works well in Salem more than it does Kaiser. Kaiser is built a little bit different. So what we're investigating right now is figuring out how to create a kind of like a hub and spoke model that would allow for folks to call up chariots and say, hey, I'm located over here off of this back street that's close to Verta, and I'm trying to get to the Kaiser Transit Center so I can hop on 11 and be able to get to Salem. And then from Salem, like, they have that really awesome kind of grid model where they can get back and forth. So we're looking into that. Mayor Clark talked a little bit about SCATs and how that funds chariots. And so when we're putting in those applications, we are being mindful of what we need to absolutely fund to continue the core services that we're providing today. But every year we're slowly trying to implement more services like that. And unfortunately this year we weren't able to increase that service that I've been advocating for. But that's kind of the future of or looking ahead, like that's kind of how I envision transportation being efficient in Kaiser. But we're always looking for new opportunities to expand and increase access.
So someday there might be an app for that.
Yes, and well, there is going to be. I can't speak to that with certainty. So there is going to be an app for that, where, or at least that app is going to have in real time tracking, so that you can open up that UMO app that I talked about earlier and see where the bus is at. So now you're not showing up at a bus stop and looking this way and that way to figure out if the bus is coming or not. You'll know exactly when it's coming, and so you won't be missing the bus. And then in addition to that, we're also going to be increasing the time. So it's not going to be every 30 minutes, it's going to be every 15 minutes and hopefully every 10 minutes. We're constantly looking to see how we can improve. And in addition to that too, I know that in Lancaster on Route 11, we are working with the city of Salem to upgrade their streetlights so that they recognize buses. So when buses are coming through, they'll stay green to help buses stay on track and stay on time and get people to places on time. And so yeah, maybe there's opportunity there to work with the city of Kaiser and see if we can do that here.
Well, and can you briefly talk about the Youth Pass program? Because to Mike's point, if you're a kid, youth, 18 and under, you don't even need UMO. You just need to get on.
Absolutely. Yes. And that is, he doesn't like to take a lot of credit for it, but I want to thank our prior president, Ian Davidson, for that. Ian was also recognized recently as the outstanding, he was given an award as the outstanding public transit board member of the year from the Oregon Transportation Association. He really led the charge for that youth bus pass program. And in collaboration with the Salem Kaiser School District, with the city of Kaiser, with the city of Salem, some great community partners. But he was really kind of the tip of the spear behind that. And because of that, now youth can get on the buses and they can ride for free. They can go to their football games, they can go to their band practice, they can go to all these different community events and extracurricular activities that are really conducive to them graduating and being successful in school. And so yeah, that's one thing that we're really excited about, and please feel free to share with anybody you might know that hasn't heard yet.
Yeah, we're going to keep on advertising that. It's been over a year now since that began, just over a year. And the numbers that Chariot shares with the Kaiser City Council and with the community have really been spectacular. Like you were talking about, Mike, you rode the bus as a kid. Absolutely. And we've seen just a tremendous increase in ridership, and to Ramiro's point, that the kids can participate in activities, they can go to extra classes, they can stay for football practice or a club. And as our school administrators will tell you, if our students are staying for a club, an activity, or a sport, the graduation rate goes way through the roof. Partnership, partnership, partnership. So Mike, Jane, you've been very patiently listening, and thank you for being part of the conversation. And then I'm going to have Pastor Dominguez wrap us up with the good word. Jane, you've had a busy time period and even more coming up.
Yeah, it's been busy. So I just want to talk about that. The upcoming greeters on Tuesday is going to be Larry Jackson's for Jackson's Auto Body. They're celebrating 65 years of business, which is super exciting. I know they're having an event next Friday. Is at the 22nd. They're hosting Salem greeters, and then they'll have an event at their place at 3 p.m. So we're super excited for Jackson's Auto Body. That's great. 65 years of business. This Wednesday is going to be Government Affairs Committee, and that will be at the fire station. And Ryan Russell will be discussing the fire levy and what this means to Kaiser. So that'll be a good one to be at the fire station for.
I bet Betty will be there for that.
And then the other one I was going to talk about is that on Thursday, the chambers have the after hours at the View, and the Latino Business Alliance is hosting that one on Thursday. So kind of a busy week for the chamber with stuff like that. And then I found out that we have come up with the date for the Percy event in May, and that's going to be on May 2nd. So they've changed the date around a little bit, and we have found that it's gone a lot better having the Percy event in May. We've gotten more participation from teachers. I think it's a lot better than being in September when they're getting everything ready and then it's all to go to an event. But at May, they're ready to let's have fun. We're almost through the school season. So it's kind of the update. And then we'll just be starting to get ready, for the getting stuff out for the giving basket and getting ready to ramp up for that program as well.
Yeah,
I think I have an idea who I'll sponsor for that. My sister and my mom's 91st birthday is May 2nd.
And I did want to share something as I'm seeing you guys pop up all these PDFs. You guys put my email in there. You guys can send that to me, and we love to put all the community events up on the inside screen at the bank, and we can do some of it on the reader board, and we really do get people paying attention to it and asking questions. So any kind of information you want on upcoming events or anything that you guys have, shoot me an email and we can get it up on the inside TV and on the reader board. We love to support the community, and we do find that people actually pay attention to it.
Thank you so much, Jane. That's a wonderful opportunity to get the information out. I'm sharing the screen right now, especially with the upcoming Giving Basket program. Yes, in September, and yes, Christmas is around the corner, and the Giving Basket program is so significant for our children and families in our community. And it is an all hands on deck, but wow, just wow, the results that happen because of that. We've got dates for that, if I remember correctly, coming up.
Second. When we deliver all the gifts, it's the same day as a holiday light parade show. So the second Saturday of the month. And I do not have the date right in front of me. I want to say that it's the 9th or the 10th, maybe.
You are correct,
So,
it's the 9th.
yeah.
Good memory.
Wasn't it about 350 families received food boxes and gifts for children last year?
Yep.
Santa Central is busy.
And that also includes the programs at Chemeketa. So there's a partnership there as well as with the Salem Kaiser School District and with our local faith community to be able to let folks know, who needs to be served. So we can get not only gifts, but also food supplies to families. And we know how important that is for the families in our community. So thank you so much. And just a real quick wrap up on the Kaiser Fest. Somebody knocked it out of the ballpark with his band, but also the event was so well attended. So all looking good for next year as well, sounds like.
Yeah, super pleased. We're super excited having it at the Kaiser Rapids Park. I mean, what a thing. It's amazing to have it there. And I know the location, depending on those soccer fields, may be pushed back, but we're super excited about that too. So yeah, it went really well. Even there's a lot of activities going on that weekend, but I still think that we really had a good time. I really enjoyed this year was just how many families were there until the rides closed, and just how much of a family event it was. And that was really kind of gives me goosebumps. I just really enjoyed seeing how all the families together and all the different booths and people really having a good time coming together as a community out there. So
Well, I know it's a tremendous lift to do that. Thank you. And looking forward to the site design for once and for all, a permanent home for the Kaiser for Kaiser Fest at Kaiser Rapids Park.
Yeah.
Don't tell Dave Wallery that, right? No.
and speaking of Kaiser Rapids Amphitheater, and I know we've talked briefly about it, Cathy, but I think there's a real opportunity for us to have these concerts, but to learn from some of the communities around, say like Independence, Albany, even Silverton, who has the Music on the Lawn, what they're doing in order to fund and hold these free concerts for their communities. I think that we don't need to reinvent the wheel. I think we can just find out from these communities what they're doing and kind of piggyback on their ideas and maybe set meetings to learn from these folks, so that we can really create a great concert series in that park. It's so underutilized. It's our favorite place to play. It's fantastic. The setting is wonderful. And we really look forward to partnering with you guys and learning from these other communities how we can really make it a bigger, better concert series and benefit the entire community.
Right on the same page, and let's have those conversations. Absolutely. Pastor Dominguez, would you give us a sense of what's happening in the community, what's coming up, and the good word?
Well, we are focusing and highlighting these next couple of months on fostering and contributing to community. And man, we're listening to some awesome things that are happening in our community. And talking about fostering community, we were at the Kaiser United event on September 11th, this past Monday, and Latin American, or the Latin Action Committee, partnered with Don Juan's Restaurant, and we provided a meal for everyone there. We heard some great stories from community leaders, what they're doing. We had a presentation from a community emergency response team on how to handle emergencies in the community. It was a great presentation. We had the Kaiser Police Department there talking about what they're doing, how they're connecting to the community. Just some awesome things that happened there at Kaiser United, and the great work that Meredith Mooney is doing there. Latin Action Committee, we presented her with a award. One of our past city councilmen, Rolando Herrera, gave her a crystal with an eagle on it, and we just wanted to highlight the fact that she's soaring in our community. The things that she is doing to bring community leaders together, to partner, to work together in our community is an amazing thing. And the other thing, just wanted to highlight a little bit, maybe Navarro can help me with this. We just recently had, yesterday, we had the Hispanic Heritage Month breakfast and summit. And it was quite an event. We gathered together at the Salem Conference Center. We had a keynote speaker, and I don't know if many of you know Richard Montañez. Richard Montañez was the creator of the Flaming Hot Cheeto. His story was that he was a janitor at Frito-Lay's, and he shared his inspiring, motivating, and challenging message to us, telling us that it doesn't matter where you start. You could be a janitor, you could be working out in the fields as a farm laborer, but if you have a work ethic and you have a vision and you have a dream, you can be compensated for that. And he talked about many things. He talked about taking advantage of opportunities. But then after that great keynote presentation, and maybe Navarro can help me a little bit with this. We had a business summit. We had business leaders from the community come together, how we can foster and contribute and make our community a better place. As Latinos, we have a lot to contribute to our community, and we listen to business people share their vision, share how we can contribute more to our community. There was also a medical or a healthcare summit. Doctors, Latino doctors came in, and we shared about some of the needs in the Latino community, how we can connect resources, how we can connect with other people in the community to provide help to those people that are not seen, are not heard, and those people that need help, and connecting them to different things. And of course, we had our very own RJ Navarro. He participated in the Leadership Summit. In fact, Navarro, I didn't even recognize you today. You had on your Mexican garb, you had your sombrero on, you had your Mexican dress, belt, shoes. My goodness, you really celebrated. But RJ was part of the Leadership Summit, shared as our a board member from transit. And there were other people there, Teresa Alonso Leon, Eddie Melendres, who is a city councilman in Ontario, Oregon, came all the way from Ontario, Oregon to be a part of the summit. But RJ, if you want to jump in, you can. But it was a great event. I was unable to be at the whole event. I was there from 8 to 12. What I heard, what I saw, music, food, dance, just the sharing of the culture was an amazing time.
Yeah, so I can share a little bit. I'll be brief. So Poder is an organization that is just starting up to address like the health equity concerns of the needs of the Hispanic population, the growing Hispanic population. This was the first time that we included a summit, which made it a full day event that allowed for us to have different topics addressing the business community and the how much the Latinos contribute to the economy here. And we had the health summit too that was part of it, and then we had the leadership summit. I was asked to be on the leadership panel for that as somebody who is representing their community, and somebody who also comes from a Latino background. The outfit that Pastor Dominguez was talking about earlier was a charro outfit. So
Yes.
my dad is from Jalisco, and Jalisco, Mexico is home of the charros, right? So they have the big sombreros, they have the jackets, they ride the horses, they sing the mariachi music. It's also home of the mariachi music. And so yeah, so I got to wear my outfit from Jalisco during the morning, because it's all black, and so it was really hot yesterday. I had to go change out before the leadership summit. But yeah, I saw Corey from the chamber there, and it was really awesome to have you guys' presence there, and really
Yes. Yes.
engage with folks and about how we could be addressing issues to really include the population of our community that often feels left out. And it brought people from Ontario, from northern, Oregon, from southern Oregon, from the valley, all together at one place. And it was so successful that I'm really looking forward to the next one.
And if you can, maybe next year, you can come on in and join the celebration. It was an awesome time, and I just wanted to report about that. And of course, I think it was Betty that said this month is Hispanic Heritage Month. So thank you.
Thank you. I finally found the website, so I was able to pop it up on the screen. I know we've gone a little bit long today, but I really want to thank everybody for a fantastic conversation. I really want to thank our special guest today, DJ Vincent from Church at the
Yes.
Park, and my friends here on the screen, Diane Watson from the Temecula Community College Board of Education, Mike and Jane Lowry from the Kaiser Chamber Board of Directors, Ramiro Navarro from the Chariot Board of Directors, Betty Hart from the Kaiser Fire District Board of Directors, and Pastor Jose Dominguez from La Luz de Valle Church. I want to thank all of you for joining us at this for the September edition of Coffee with Cathy. Have a great day and a great weekend. Thank you all so much.